One.
Good afternoon. I'm going to call to order the Tuesday study session. Today is January 14th. It's 12:01 p.m. And we currently have 3 council members present. The other 3 colleagues, council members Morel and Morel. It still says Campbell on here. Krueger and Herrera are excused. Councilmember Denson is online, and Ayala and I are in the on the chambers. So we do not have a quorum. We are going to receive information to make sure we're all on the same page. Not making any decisions, but so we're going to keep this going. But we do not have a quorum for an official meeting this afternoon. So just want that very clear, but we are going to go ahead and move on to item number 2, which is just previewing our upcoming council meeting this afternoon. So we'll turn this over to Ms. Long.
Thank you. So this is this afternoon's amended meeting agenda for your regular council meeting at 3. And I will highlight one item that we did not go over on your consent agenda yesterday that has been added, and it's under other items F, item 2. And this is a motion appointing council member Ayala to serve on the Joint Municipal Action Committee for the year 2025. And so that has been added to your consent agenda for this afternoon. Moving to section 7, proclamations. You do have 2 items here. The first proclamation is honoring the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King for his contributions to the ideals of equality and justice throughout the world and in Pierce County. And that was requested by Councilmember Herrera. And the other is a proclamation of the council and executive designating January 2025 as Whole Child Month in Pierce County, and Councilmember Ayala will be reading that one this afternoon. Under resolutions, the first 2 are likely to be continued to next week. The first of those is our 2024-266, and this is establishing your standing committees, your committee memberships, and the officers and days and times for the meetings. And then the other is our 2024-267. This is making appointments to the external boards and commissions. And then number 3 is continued from last week, and that is our 2024-268. And this is appointing an individual to serve as the district number 5 council member. And those are your agenda items. Oh, sorry. Really important one under other business, and that is your election of officers. And those are your agenda items for this afternoon's meeting.
Thank you for the overview. And would it be appropriate during the initial portion? I just want to make sure, I think I heard this yesterday when we went over this first time, but those 2 resolutions that are not ready, the motion would be, instead of reading into the record and all of that, the motion would be, I move to continue to, and then it'd be next Friday. That would be the first thing.
Right.
Does it require reading into the record, and then just a voice vote?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And then the second comment is just thinking about, if we do appoint someone, which that is the goal, is to go into recess to do the swearing in, kind of not the big formal on TV, all that. Give a little bit of time and space for that, and then come back to finish the last bit of business. But to do that last motion and have District 5 have a voice and a vote, they have to be sworn in. So we were going to do that instead of as part of the agenda as during a recess. So just so everybody is aware, I wanted to check that with my colleagues, but it's kind of where we are. So we'll see what happens during the council meeting. Any questions from you, Councilmember Ayala or Councilmember Denson?
For me?
Okay. Well, thank you, Ms. Long. Can we go to number 3?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Hugh Taylor, council staff. The external boards and commissions, just a few items to report out on this week. Growth Management Policy Board does have a meeting this week, Thursday, the 16th. Councilmember Denson is the council's representative to that board, so you're good as far as coverage goes. There's one action item on their agenda, and that's certification of the Town of Stillicum's comprehensive plan. So the PSRC staff is recommending certification of that plan, so there's no bad news for the town of Stillicum. But that's the only action item that they have. And then in regard to more local bodies, the PCRC, Pierce County Regional Council, meets Thursday, 6 p.m. The agenda hasn't been released yet, so you haven't seen that in your inbox. I did talk to the clerk earlier today. That's going to go out this afternoon. There are two items on the agenda for PCRC. One is, first is a review of the 2025 state legislative agenda for the PCRC. That's a continuation of a discussion that they've had over the last several meetings. And then they're also going to review the draft 2025 work plan for that body. That work plan will then be presented to the General Assembly in February for approval, but that's what they have queued up. Executive Board of PSRC meets next Thursday, the 23rd. Staff's anticipating that there may be, should be an appointment at that point in time. And last but not least, circling back to this week, JMAC, Joint Municipal Action Committee, meets on the 17th. As Ms. Long pointed out, there's a motion on your agenda today to make an appointment so that Pierce County has coverage for the JMAC. Staff is anticipating council may wish to make a second appointment as well as designate an alternate as well, consistent with JMAC's protocols that they recently adopted. So that's what I have for external boards and commissions today.
Thank you for the overview. Councilmember Isla, any questions?
Just wanted to clarify, related to JMAC, there are typically 2 representatives from every governmental body, and the ask is for an alternate. Based on our agenda topics for this evening's, that is, trying to find the right words for this. We would need to decide on those 3 names today, or is this part of the,
I think,
Yeah.
so the appointments to JMAC are included within the resolution that makes the external boards and commission appointments.
Mhm.
And so, council, if they continue that matter today until next week, those appointments would occur next week. But in order to make certain there's coverage for this Friday's meeting, staff recommended the appointment of you to that board by motion.
Got it.
So,
All right. Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Mhm.
And then I guess I will update my colleagues. Board of Health is meeting tomorrow. We're hearing a report on our family support partnerships, the family resource centers that are across the county, including the mobile one that we have that was new last year. And one of its areas of focus were some of the areas where we don't have a facility in some of our urban areas, but I think they also went into the rural areas. But Hosmer was one of the areas they spent a lot of time. So it should be interesting to kind of hear how that's rolled out. We will also be nominating and voting on the chair and vice chair position of the Board of Health. So, and then I did get notification that Executive Mello is serving in his role, and his alternate is someone who we are familiar with. Ms. Merrick has been named as the alternate on the Board of Health. So for those of us in staff that's following any of that, thought I would just share that. That's all I have. And I don't really have any chairs topics. I don't know if Councilmember Morrell had something he thought he was going to talk about. So I don't really have a number 4. So we'll go to number 5.
Good morning, Councilmember Hitchin, Councilmember Ayala, Councilmember Denson. My update today will focus primarily on proclamations, but there is communications work happening in the background, just kind of business as usual, so nothing really major to report out. So in your packet, there is a proclamation for the Sumner 4A State Football Championship. They won the state championship last year, at the end of the year. That's the first one since I think like the 1970s, if memory serves. So that will be on the 28th. We're going to have the coach and members of the team here in council chambers. But please take a look at that proclamation. If you see anything that you want to add to it, just let me know. And I'll work with Councilmember Herrera to make sure we make that happen. And then today, as mentioned in the agenda, we have the Martin Luther King Jr. proclamation and the Whole Child Month proclamation. We have several guests lined up for that. Corey Storzik, I believe. She is the director of the Whole Child Month initiative at Tacoma Public Schools. She'll be here to receive the Whole Child Month proclamation. And for the MLK month or MLK Day proclamation, we have Lyle Cuisine from the Black Collective who will be joining us. We also have Janice Lee. She used to be the CEO and president of the Tacoma Urban League. She has since left that post and started her own business, but she'll also be here to participate in the proclamation. And pending any questions, that's all I have.
Okay. I don't have any questions. Do you have any questions?
No questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dominic.
Thank you.
Well, nothing else for this meeting that is not an official meeting because we don't have a quorum, but thank you for all of the information and the overview, and seeing nothing before us in study session. We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.